Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Speedgaming Live Zelda 2 Randomizer Grand Finals Game 2 of BKPKT Patrick versus MiRai. I am SonnyWrath11, and joining me in the booth tonight, it's not the Goblin this time, but if you've been around the community, you know this person, and y'all love this person. It's Elendar. How we doing tonight, Elendar?
Howdy, howdy. It's exciting. We're all the way at the end here. I know it took until the very end for me to do some commentary, but we got a new version out. We got everything good. I had some time and get to watch what could be the last game of this tournament.
Indeed, and excuse me while I fix the scoreboard, as MiRai won last night, putting him up 1-0. And if MiRai wins this, he takes the entire tournament. He will have not lost a match at all. As for games that he's lost, I think he's lost a few, so it's not a completely flawless tournament win, but it is still going to be a very, very good one.
Yeah, completely flawless tournament win. I would say basically impossible, knowing that there is, in fact, one member of the community who has done that before. But, I mean, getting all the way through on winners finals and winning any tournament is going to be just an absolute honor. I'm sure both of these runners have very little nerves because they both won tournaments before, experienced runners in this community, but should be exciting to see a potential winner here, though I am, of course, as always, rooting for more games.
I mean, who's not rooting for more games? That's the real question. Granted, I know there's a lot of Team MiRai here. I imagine there's quite a bit of Team Patrick here. Both of these runners, absolutely fantastic runners. If you've been around in the community for a while, you've more than likely raced both of them. And they are extremely, extremely talented runners. The score right now is MiRai is up 1 to Patrick 0. It's a best of 3, and we are off.
Very exciting. Both runners starting with fire, as is this flag set. I didn't see if they had, I think that was in the Saria slot?
I believe so. But we are going to get a look at what is here in Trophy Cave to start. And it's Trophy.
Is this even randomized?
Patrick can go ahead and take a level real quick and then grab that trophy immediately up in A.
I rolled this seat so you could double blame me. Oh, okay. It was in the 4th slot, so no effort to get fire spell. That looks like is that a bridge? That's a raft tile in a canyon DM, it looks like. Is this canyon? No, this is a caldera. And MiRai just really quickly counting out a whole bunch of caves that he can see, trying to figure out if there's any obvious hammer cave here. It doesn't look like there's an obvious one. But MiRai's going to do a little bit of digging, see if he can find a non-obvious.
Sorry about those difficulties. We had a little bit of stuff that needed to be done on the back end. I have missed what has happened while getting some of that fixed.
Not a whole ton. MiRai found DM. It's a caldera. There's not a lot here. And he's giving up on it. Sensibly. The rock is right next to the start, though, so if they do find a hammer, they can go in. Patrick has found, real quick, a way east.
Yeah.
So he's just gonna say, okay, forget the west. With P-bags being in the P-bag caves, the west isn't nearly as rewarding as it typically is. And early east is going to be a nice play here for Patrick. Although, the danger of early east is what Patrick's seeing right here. Death.
Lots and lots of MOAs, but with that cross at the start, it does make it a little bit easier to navigate through. He's going to go ahead and check this cave and find that it is a pass-through cave. Unfortunately, not finding either of the P-bag caves here, but that is a-okay. He checks the desert tile, and it is just a blue jar tonight.
Yeah, it's the finals. We can't have anything for free.
I mean, you're not wrong.
The first race definitely looked like it was going to be free, and then they ended up on a flute hunt of all things. So could be anything this time. Yeah, and Patrick just gets too many difficult encounters, decides to up A back to the west, try again.
MiRai, making good work of that encounter, finds the fairy cave.
Doing a little bit of pause buffering, trying to avoid taking any damage landing down here. Gets hit anyway.
I mean, I like the plan of the pause buffering, though. That definitely is a more heads-up play, if you will. And finds a reverse jump cave. This is looking a little nasty here for the west.
Yeah. I mean, reverse jump cave seems to be the only way they can actually progress in the west other than going east.
MiRai gonna head back over to DM and then immediately nope out. This is
going through the caldera is a little bit spooky, but
this is the kind of seed that we needed last night, to be completely honest.
Yeah, nothing easy or obvious here. You're just going to have to pick an option. None of them are great, and stick it out. MiRai now finds the east. We'll see if he makes any progress here.
Mr. Pegleg Greg calling boots in Hammer Cave, which I'm kind of a fan of. I like this.
Yeah, that sounds like a fun one. I mean, given that this is an island's east, and boots would be fantastic, but Hammer Cave, especially in a caldera, going to be difficult to find. Yeah, that's just a dead end.
So, Cypher Epsilon asking a fantastic question. Since they start with candle and cross, what replaces the items in the various checks? Literal junk. P-bags, link dolls, blue jars.
Yeah, it's an even chance for any of the 8 minor items, so the best they can hope for is, like a 200 bag or something like that. Something. I guess it can be a 500 bag here, but more than likely not going to be great, as we saw that blue jar on the desert tile. And okay, MiRai makes it through, having gone through that pasto cave in the east, finds a maze. Going to be 2 fairly free items, and I know MiRai loves farming for XP if he can find some blue Lizalfos or something that are good XP here.
Finds an Octorok and a bot. Red Lizalfos might actually be good here.
Meanwhile, Patrick in Jump Cave trying to see if red Dyras are any good.
At $100, that's actually real nice.
I mean, they'll definitely take it. It's not farming territory, but it's worth your time.
All right, MiRai finding the first item on the maze, and it's just a magic container, but that is good since Grandma's Basement is a hard required 7 magic containers.
Yeah, with expensive Thunderon, it's just you sort of want to just find a number of them at some point anyway. You can't really get away with scooting by on 4 containers most of the time.
Indeed, and Patrick did make it through reverse jump, and he has found the magic container cave, as MiRai is just continuing through this maze island. If Patrick finds the boots here, that's going to be a significant advantage for him.
Yeah, good to see some early variation here. And MiRai just waiting for the 2 enemies to try and group up so we can do a neutral jump over them. It's kind of a nasty spot, but he makes it.
Patrick finding a heart container in the magic container cave, so not quite vanilla, but close enough to vanilla.
Yeah, MiRai trying to kill that blue Lizalfos, but with 2 enemies in the same spot, and the second one you can't kill. Not going to be able to do it, and takes another death.
Yeah,
Game over
jumps and
here would be
lands.
brutal.
He jumped and landed directly on it, which is a bit of a problem. Patrick exploring through this portion of the West.
Yeah, and this is definitely one of the nice things about doing West first. It's just the enemies hit a lot less damage. And yeah, MiRai up A's, saving the death animation. He is out of there.
It's a little unfortunate to see, but by no means the end of it all.
Yeah, I think he had a different route he could have gone in the maze, so you can sort of come back to the maze and be like, all right, that path was awful, too many encounters, we're going the other way.
Patrick here finding a palace up in A's. It's P5. And second palace here as well as the other side of Saria, or one side of Saria, it's P1. No keys are going to be available in any of the drop pools. Finds the other side of Saria, and it's Spell.
I was going to say, I'm glad Patrick is doing this, getting the Bagu's Woods hint. This could be important. It could be valuable. It is West Woods. That's probably not going to be a place they can reach right now.
I don't know.
Could be. For people who haven't tracked Bagu's Woods down before, that hint means that...
it's right here.
Oh, yeah. No, this is Bagu's Woods right here. Okay. The hint is just because it's just west. It means it'll be on the west third horizontally and the middle third vertically. And yeah, no, okay, camped right outside of town. He had walked through a lot of these tiles in this forest before going into Saria, so I'm kind of surprised he didn't accidentally step on one of them, but...
Yeah, you and me both.
Okay. So MiRai, as expected, back in the maze, going on a little bit of a different path just to avoid any nastiness. And wow, another Basilisk Blue Lizalfos combination, this time going upstairs.
Yeah, that Zora Blue Lizalfos combo is always a bit of a rude one.
I like what MiRai's doing here. He's going to get those Alphos, drag him all the way back, isolate him by himself so he can kill him safely, reducing the enemies, and also, potentially big bucks for this blue Alphos. They are a pain, but 200's okay.
I mean, 200 is enough to get attack 2 if he wants it, and he's going to let it ride, start going after life 4 here.
Understandable. Patrick gets the spell.
That he does.
We'll see what's on the other side of Saria. It could be good, could be nothing, because it's kind of next to this lake. There's a palace here, at least. No. A little bit too great to be done right now.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was about to go with that. But I did see a grass tile here in the middle of all of this graveyard.
I appreciate MiRai being very safe with the levers, making sure that they have respawned in a different position before repositioning.
And there are the boots.
Huge for Patrick. This west and the east are both kind of watery. I mean, the east especially because it's islands, but it's going to be critical for navigation. And unfortunately, that means MiRai not going to find these boots. He's going to get life 4 and also a refill on lives.
And unfortunately, Heart Container Cave has the opposite of its container. It had a magic container this time around. Levers are the jankiest enemy in the game. Change my mind.
I mean, they are absolutely the jankiest enemy in the game. The big bubbles in GP have a lot of jank to them as well for a bunch of reasons.
That's true.
But it's still probably levers.
Okay, Reflect Town. Reflect is about to be picked up by Patrick. And MiRai is going to get this attack too. I like this.
We saw kind of a similar thing in the previous race where MiRai got behind early but had advantages on levels and on heart containers. Was able to leverage that into catching up significantly.
That he did.
But we'll see if that helps him here, because not having boots is a pretty big thing. He's going to need to find something important or at least useful here in the maze.
As he finds the second drop, it is the child drop. And
just like a hammer or a glove or any key. Okay, that's maybe as good, if not better, than the boots right now. Huge.
Yeah, that is massive. As Patrick is about to pick up the jump spell, that'll give him access to upstab and downstab, which will be very, very good. Also, I need to mark off the medicine for both of them, because fire is the spell for Mito this time around.
Indeed. It's always difficult to pick that up on the menu right on the first pause.
And here we go. Use of the boots already coming into play.
Yeah, and he knows that the east is island, so probably going to be there relatively soon. Just wants to finish up his checks here on the west. Make sure that he gets them all before leaving.
Oh yeah, I completely expect Patrick to beeline. Says 36 for MiRai.
Yeah, and he is looking for more experience. He's on the hunt. This is attack 2. I mean, attack 1 is always terrible. Attack 2 is usually terrible. He's probably looking to hit at least 4 as soon as he can.
If not attack 5. And here is the medicine cave for Patrick. Now, the biggest find for Patrick here would be that beautiful, beautiful glove. But if the hammer is found, considering that Spec Rock is very, very close to the start of DM, that is nothing to sneeze at either.
Yeah, he could just up A out of this cave and be at Spec Rock in 20 seconds at most.
But unfortunately, it is just a magic container. We have a pass-through horsehead fight, so that is at least something for MiRai.
Yeah, and wow, this attack 2 is butts.
It is, as I like to say, hot garbage.
Very swaggy key pickup from MiRai, though. It's maximum height standing stab.
And dead-ended immediately.
Yeah, but experienced enough of a premium right now. He's going to take a little bit of a time loss to walk it out rather than upping.
Now, the boss that's dropping keys is very good news for Patrick, but I don't foresee him attempting to dive palaces until he has either glove, key, or fairy.
Yeah. Especially, we haven't seen a bunch of keys elsewhere in the drop pool. We'll probably see him just take a tour of the east, walking along the water, picking up as many pickups as he can.
I know exactly what he's about to be looking for, and that is the beautiful sword technique of downstab, as he finds the sunken pea bag cave, which is just going to contain a pea bag.
Yeah, but at 213, I'm sure he absolutely would love a 500-point bag here.
All right, Blue Lizzie here might actually be able to give Patrick the boost to attack 3 if he so decides to take it.
Yeah, he's going for it. Doesn't even need it. It's only 470. It's a low roll.
Very low roll at that. And 770 for attack 4. Oh my goodness. We are getting some low rolled levels tonight, folks, as MiRai finds Helmet Head. It was 2 that he was in. I thought it was 3-6.
I also did. But Helmet Head going to be no problem. Definitely one of the easier bosses. Getting those double hits.
And MiRai makes the double hits look very easy. And I know there are quite a few of us that do. But when you are learning these, they are far from as easy as they look.
Yeah, the thing I like about it is the setup for doing double hits sort of starts with a fairly safe strategy. So even if you miss them, you're not very likely to take a death, and you could just start up by doing the rising crouch stabs, and then learn to control your momentum with how neutral your jump is, and then try to get those double stabs in once you feel comfortable.
Oh, absolutely. And Patrick is at the maze. He is doing some exploration right now.
And the boots could have helped him quite a bit to dodge a bunch of these encounters, but it looks like
so this
he's
is
going to
actually
end up sort of back on the path anyway.
This is actually pretty big for Patrick right now because he has the 7 magic containers. He has Reflect. If he gets this key, he can do 4.
Yeah, and then just sort of go blasting on palaces. This could be a really quick one for Patrick.
Yeah, but that's if he finds 4, because 2 is the palace on the maze. And unfortunately, Patrick is not going to be able to take down the Red Lizalfos and instead take an up A.
So he's going to be
4
back.
is on the maze. Thank you.
He's going to be back on the east then in a bit. I wonder if he'll go back to the maze or just do some more other east checks first to try and get some extra safeties.
I appreciate y'all in chat keeping me honest, because, yeah, commentating and tracking, not entirely the easiest thing to do.
I appreciate you pushing the buttons.
I got you. You know that.
So yeah, Patrick, I was going to say not going back to the maze. Thinking about it, does go back to the maze.
And he's going to look for this other item, which I am a fan of the play. Because with this being Magic Key, as he's about to grab, that is actually very, very big for him.
Yeah, and he just didn't go back to the place he was at before.
So right now, the separating factors are MiRai not having the boots, but MiRai also has P2 done. If Patrick goes in here and actually decides to go ahead and do P4, even though it could be glove blocked, which he's not going to do, it would not have been a bad play.
Big question for MiRai is how he's going to route his palaces after he leaves here. If he decides to go back west and check that jump cave, not only will it lead him towards his boots, but he'll be able to sort of just beat up on all of the palaces Patrick passed by as he goes, and it won't be a huge time loss. If he instead decides to track it back and start going through a bunch of bridges trying to navigate the east, that's where Patrick having the boots early is going to be a huge advantage.
Oh, absolutely. As Patrick is just diving this P2 right now.
They were momentarily in the same room.
All right, Patrick taking the top route.
And this is going to put him on the same route MiRai took.
Yup. The good old pass-through horse head.
A little bit quicker on attack 3 than MiRai's attack 2 at the time, but... Oh, misses the key staff, though.
Key stabs aren't easy.
They're not. they'd save just a minute amount of time. I mean, missing the key, you can lose a couple seconds. But the higher up and the further right you stab the key, you save a number of frames. This is another horse head? Yeah, this is the most horse heads you can get in a P2.
It's also Teeth, the room. But it is the item, and survey says it's a hammer.
Hey, not a bad one. And MiRai is walking out.
The question is, what is MiRai going to do at this point?
Yeah, he's going to continue exploring the east. As of yet, it hasn't really cost him any time. But as soon as you start like taking bridges, going through caves and backtracking, you can spend a lot of time on islands biome without boot.
Oh, absolutely. As MiRai does pick up the life spell, Patrick searching for this item room, but also looking for this guy right here, takes a ball to the face, gets spit on, as God would say, by Helmet Head.
So far, an identical route to MiRai, so not going to really gain or lose much time. Losing a little bit to that death, but gaining it back with... Well, he had superior attack levels coming in. I think by this boss, MiRai had attack 3 already, and they should both have attack 4 shortly.
If Patrick decides to take the jump to attack 4.
Missed the container count for MiRai. 5 was not enough. 7 going to be enough for sure for Sonny.
For me?
Sorry, for Patrick. And MiRai picks up Fairy Spell. So he too is going to mark off one of the required spells. But no spell, not enough containers. He's just taken off.
Life 5 for Patrick. He is debating whether or not to jump back in, and he is going to go ahead and jump back in, which I like the play here. And MiRai is looking at getting an encounter skip here.
Yeah, if he does do Valley of Death here, then it'd be a good opportunity to do Valley of Death and end up A and then go back west. Which would be pretty efficient routing for him. Since, I mean, just in general, but especially because it'll lead him to those boots. So when he does a revisit of the east, it'll be fast.
Excellent use of the spell by Patrick here. Just to clear the screen, make things a bit safer.
Safe enough, but immediately a dead end.
Yeah, which is a little unfortunate to see. MiRai giving us a little bit of shaking while getting an encounter skip ready to go.
Yeah, Fairy must not be castable still at Magic 1, or we'd see some Fairy feet here.
Oh, absolutely. So Patrick, just looking for the item here in this P2. MiRai, on the other hand, taking his time to make it through that encounter without taking another death, which would have been unfortunate to see, comes in, and we have a 36 here in DV.
Sure, MiRai is hoping for 6, just for the extra experience at this point. Also, like, honestly, without doubt, I'm sure both of these runners could absolutely clear the boss, no problem, but without doubt, Stab, I would much rather fight a Barba than I would a Rebanak. And it is confirmed to be 6, so good news.
Very good news here. As I realized I forgot to mark Patrick getting Helmet Head down and placing the crystal. MiRai getting the back spawns on the Mao heads, which is very, very nice. Allows for safer traversal of that room. But the unfortunate part is it led straight into a dead end.
Yep, he can go left to start here, would be, I would say, the quickest way to diverge, and here it is. Patrick arriving at his item cave, and that's a glove block.
That is indeed a glove block, which is a little unfortunate, but Patrick is about to pick up the hammer, and if Spec Rock happens to be the answer as to where that glove is, then we could have something coming up here.
Yeah, we're going to know.
Sure enough.
Wow! Okay. And MiRai, finding the glove immediately after up A because of a glove block. Not happy with the situation, but it's going to be good to him. Glove in hand. We'll see if he decides to go through jump cave here.
That is the question. He still needs to find the reflect spell. Of course, the thunder spell is still out there in the world.
He's on his way. Okay. So yeah, this is good for him. He'll be able to get his boots, and also both of the non-GP palaces on the west are sort of on the way here. A little bit surprised MiRai isn't taking any magic levels to try and make very castable. Could be trying to set up a power level somewhere.
I think so, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe we have Thunder in Nibiru. Patrick going for the super jump here, hitting it just a bit too early.
Yeah, it's been early on a lot of these jumps. Early there. That one, I think, just not enough velocity.
No, that one was still too early.
Yeah.
That one was a little late. Still too early. There it is.
You can walk around. You're allowed to walk around. That jump is not required. If you hit it on, I haven't actually tested this, but I've heard if you hit it by the fourth jump, still saves time. Anything beyond that, and you're losing time versus intended strategy of just going around and walking across the roofs.
Yeah, that's more or less what it is. All right, MiRai just going through, clearing what Patrick has already done. I missed where the child is, because I imagine Patrick checked.
Yeah, I was not paying attention. I was watching MiRai East. Okay, thank you. Thank you, chat, for having quicker eyes. Everyone say hi to Larry. Bye, Larry.
Much appreciated, Kirby fan.
And MiRai, having cleared jump cave, is now going to be able to check this whole section of west, get his extra magic containers, clear his palaces, find his boots. So probably still a pretty even race at this point. Hard to say much of an advantage.
Oh, very much so. And I believe we did see a 3-eye rock, so flute is going to be required again, as there's the child. Patrick is not going to pick it up.
It must not have been thunder then in Darunia, or...
It was shield.
The shield, okay. Yeah, Patrick is going to be able to check Spell Tower as well here.
And he is going to pick up the fairy spell here.
But yeah, we've seen most of the potentially required things. I think the only thing we still need to find is Thunder, but shouldn't be too difficult. I guess Thunder could be... do we have hidden Kasuto on? Could be Thunder hiding out under a hammer?
It's very possible, but here we go. The 8th magic container in the spell tower. So Patrick is nice and set on magic.
He'll be able to cast Fairy at least.
MiRai finding the item in believe I'm not sure which palace he's in off the top of my head. I think this is one. Yeah, this is
V1. Those are the windows for one. So
yeah, if there's been a forest tile, but we haven't seen, or we have seen both Kasutos, we haven't seen Nibiru. So that forest tile has to be hiding Nibiru at this point. There's the 3-eye rock that's going to be hiding 4. So all Patrick needs to do is get to wherever that forest tile is, grab Thunder, go back to the west, pick up the glove from DM, and he's pretty much in a good spot.
Yeah, I mean, this could turn into another flute hunt. It did last seed. MiRai desperately trying to pick up that P-bag with a clip. It's in a nasty spot.
Or yeah, forest tile can only be new Kasuto. Thanks, Obo. I always forget that.
It's hard to keep track of all the settings for the different tournaments going on. Yeah, although we're sort of closing them all up here.
3 different versions.
And here's a glove block from MiRai. He does have the glove, but if Patrick had gone in here earlier and decided to gamble it, he would not have been able to proceed. So.
And there is the Thunder Spell picked up for Patrick as MiRai is coming in to bite the horse.
See how much quicker it is in attack 4 than attack 3. Looks like, maybe a stab or 2, not a ton.
It's not much faster, but it is faster. All right, horse head down for MiRai as Patrick is looking for exactly that, the water tile.
He was trying to set up a opportunity to not take an encounter and get it on water, but would need to use the swamp to do that. Just takes the encounter. What's on the water? It's nothing.
It is a whole bag of pee.
Both runners do not want to take Magic 2. They are trying to set up a power level, but MiRai a lot closer to actually pulling that off.
Patrick did not head north.
Oh, that is unfortunate for him.
This could be a last location on the glove as MiRai is closing in.
And he's seen that rock. He knows it's right next to start, but it may have just passed his mind, or there's some other stuff he wants to check first. But every palace he goes into without a glove is dangerous. Up to and including P1 actually just being impossible so far.
Yeah, as it looks like he's heading over to P1 right now. And if he opts to dive palaces over checking anything else in the overworld that he has available, MiRai is just going to generate a massive lead from it.
Yeah. We'll see how quickly he decides it's impossible in turns. I guess we still didn't see the left from start. That could have gone somewhere relevant. Okay, MiRai did take some magic levels, and it did make Fairy castable. Still only 1 cast per life, but with Magic Key, not a huge deal.
Yeah, it dropped the cast cost of Fairy significantly. And knowing MiRai, he'll probably end up sticking with this amount of magic containers. But we'll just have to wait and find out.
Yeah, Magic 3, still a relatively low level requirement, so you can power level without too much effort. Especially with 1 and 2 already down, most of the remaining bosses are going to be higher XP. Speaking of higher XP, here's a Guma.
Yeah, and MiRai is definitely going to be fighting this guy probably for a little bit, because Guma is a thick boy today.
Yeah. Takes a mace, life spell, gonna recover him. Probably still has 1 more safety, but not 2. Have to be a little bit careful as we see MiRai. Yeah, not trying to get too crazy. Just doing jump in, get a couple hits, back off. Don't get mace.
Absolutely. And Patrick just taking a bit of time getting the attack level, finds the glove block and up and A's immediately afterwards as MiRai takes down Guma. He is deciding whether or not he wants to go after the experience, and it turns out the answer to that question is yes.
It's a little unfortunate because there's just not good enemies, and yeah, he decides forget it. It's a little sad, but whatever.
Not the worst situation that he could be in, as Patrick has taken the left from start. And MiRai is going to get a whole 57 points for this level. He is not going to let it ride.
Yeah, he could have let it ride. He could have just burned the gem if he really wanted to stay low on magic levels, but just going to take it and move on. Probably means that he's not going to be able to get a power level at any point, but he's still well on pace to end up with like a 5, 6, 7 or something like that.
The glove was not required for 1.
Ooh, there's a way around. That's good news for Patrick. Not as quick as MiRai's route through 1, but better than having an up A out.
No kidding there. It looks like MiRai has jumped back in. I believe he is looking for the item right now. The glove allows you to break blocks.
Yeah, the glove can be potentially required in any of the palaces, which you don't really know until you've checked everywhere. But it is well in excess of 99% to be required in GP. So it's one of the items that we just consider a mandatory pickup for every seed.
Now, the only exception on the glove being required is in the Max Rando variant, because there are a lot of times that you can actually get through Max Rando without the glove. But this is not Max Rando.
Yeah, it's a sensible gamble in other flag sets. In this flag set, there's just so many rooms in GP that can require the glove that it would take a small miracle. It does happen occasionally, but even when there is that very rare GP that doesn't require a glove, you still almost never see runners in this kind of a flag set go to GP without the glove, because the odds are so bad. And worse, you can end up being 5 or 6 rooms into GP before you discover that you don't have you need the glove and you don't have it, and it's just a waste of time. So
Exactly.
We will see Patrick pick up the glove before heading into GP, even if he doesn't need it for any of these other palaces. The question being just, are any of the other palaces glove blocked, and how long is it going to take Patrick to take a trip to the Rock? Hopefully not too much longer. Again, it is very close to start.
Patrick is getting absolutely terrible spawns on these MOAs.
Yeah, the positions of the MOAs are consistent as long as you hold forward and don't slow down at all coming into the screen. Raya's giving his webcam a lecture that we cannot hear. He's unhappy with the heart container pickup there.
All right, Patrick has taken his 2 hits. This 3rd hit will spell death for him.
I think he's got still 2 lives in reserve, but you don't want to die, especially the further you get in. But dying is happening.
Yeah, a little unfortunate to see, but right now there's There's a lot riding on this, because if Patrick wins, it goes to game 3. If MiRai wins, the tournament is done.
Yeah, and Patrick also with the life spell. It's going to buy him one more hit. But that just means that he can take 2 hits without dying instead of 1. A third hit, still death.
And he is playing this extremely well. He is focused in. He is in the zone. He just needs one more hit, if I'm not mistaken. And there it is. P5 done for Patrick.
Yeah, and he's going to have no problem taking a life 6 here.
MiRai, I've missed if he picked up the boots.
If he did, we're going to see in about 5 seconds. Looks like not yet. So I think this is the cave with them, if I recall.
I believe so. If they weren't here, they might have been on the grass tile. There's been a lot that's happened so far in the seed, and Patrick is going straight for the glove.
Yeah, unsurprising. It right next to start, and yeah, it gives it a bit of a face, like I could have done that before P1.
So, now the questions are, what's Patrick going to do at this point? Because he has everything he needs for go. How long is it going to take for MiRai before he picks up those boots? Which the answer on that should not be too long. If Game 3 happens, it will be tomorrow starting at 8:15 p.m. Eastern. And Patrick is going to come into 4, which I like this play. But that flute is still an outlier right now. And is he going to do this 4 and then go dive 6 immediately to then get to 3 under 3-eye rock? Or are we going to have a repeat of last night where flute is in Hammer Cave?
Oh man, if Glove is in Spec Rock and Flute is in Hammer Cave again, I'm sure both runners are going to just absolutely freak out, because once again, I suspect if Flute is in Hammer Cave, it's going to be pretty close to last location by both runners.
I mean, at this point, it's very, very reasonable to say that Hammer Cave would be the last location for both of them, as MiRai is about to turn in that trophy and pick up this beautiful, beautiful spell called Reflect. As Patrick
gotta pick it up at some.
now takes the lead and has Karok down, he's going to jump back into P4, and he's going to take life 7, not let this ride. Not that I can blame him. He's got 2 palaces remaining. He can hit that life 6, or life 8, and the attack 6, potentially.
Yeah, I'd like to see one of those levels spent on some magic, but I understand.
All right, Patrick is going to continue running through here, and he may just opt to take everything on that last gem and get all the magic then and there.
Yeah, if he can
MiRai.
get like life 8 and then a bunch of magic levels, or
MiRai, unfortunately, just not finding the boots.
There's the grass tile. Okay, this has got to be it. Yeah, and if you asked Patrick, what would you rather have? I'm sure he'd tell you, just give me attack 6 and the magic levels, forget life 8. But Late Fate has a nasty tendency to be cheaper than you want it to be.
Yes, it does, as he is working towards, I believe this is attack 6 XP requirement. Oh, hello. Good find on the item room here for Patrick. And it's just some pea in a bag.
Didn't cost him a ton of time, though.
Nah, that was a pretty quick dive. And MiRai, if he decides to dive for the item in 4, then that's going to be bad news bears for him. Patrick, on the other hand, looking to be in a very good situation. Thunder is also only 77 at Magic 1. I did not realize that until just now.
That is shockingly cheap.
Patrick gets the fairy feet, and he's going to head off to P6. MiRai, on the other hand, is going to hit that water tile. He's going to cast fairy, and disappointment sets in.
So what do we got left for flute locations? I mean, we've seen, and both runners haven't seen all these locations, but between them they have. We've seen...
Hammer Cave and 6 is all that's remaining.
Yeah, why it's just 6? I'm trying to think of the palaces, but yeah, they've done a really good job of exhaustively searching all of these houses. I guess 3 is going to be under the rock, so... I mean... Do you go crazy and try to gamble on Hammer Cave first, or just do 6 first? I mean, Patrick is already in 6. I don't know how MiRai is going to feel having already been into 6.
Wait a minute. Hold the phone here. Because I think MiRai found the item in 6 earlier when he came in here the first time and then got glove blocked, and I believe that was the last heart container that Patrick doesn't have. So if that's the case... then the flute has to be in Hammer Cave, and in turn, the raft has to be in 3.
Yeah, and MiRai's going to know fairly shortly he's running out of East locations. He's going to think it's either in 4 or Hammer Cave. But 4 was not very long. If he does do Hammer Cave first, it's going to save him decent amount of time because the boss was so quick in 4. You know, you'd just be able to in and out.
Oh, Canada room. All right, Patrick, continuing on through, he is going to go ahead and take the magic refill here and level magic up to 2, which I am a fan of. You're on your last 2 palaces, and you know that 3 coming up is very, very short. Might as well start getting levels now.
Yeah, the additional cost is going to make almost no difference in terms of being able to set up this power level. MiRai just crossing off his last thing on the to-do list and picking up Thunder.
Okay, Patrick has the item, and it's... oh my goodness.
It was the flute.
I thought the item in 6 had been found, but no, by a massive twist, it had not been. That is massive for Patrick.
He just got everything that he needs and a palace lead. This is going to be a tough time for MiRai to catch up.
Yeah, and Vaughn raiding in at pretty much the perfect time with that, because we have hit the point that this is Patrick's game to lose. As Barba is found immediately afterwards. It's the Attack 5 Barba. This should not be that bad of a fight for Patrick to do. He should make it through no problem and be on to P3. As MiRai is about to go pick up a downstab from Darunia, and if you haven't been watching the tournament, you might be going, wait, why is downstab in Darunia? That's because upstab and downstab have been swapped in locations. Amazing Barba fight there from Patrick. P6 down, just P3 remaining.
It's not going to be a long trip. It should be just outside. He's going to save and quit out. I guess this is probably a little bit faster if you could just boot your way down the coast. Oh, that's right. P6 was in Valley of Death. He definitely doesn't want to walk out of that.
Yep. Because remember, ferry is still very, very expensive. I don't remember where MiRai got the extra heart. That's what it was. Thank you, Quick 10 Draw. P3 here for Patrick. Item room found immediately, and he's going to take this first right.
And MiRai gonna go back and do 4. Makes sense. He doesn't want to do. He doesn't want to do Hammer Cave unless he absolutely has to, and this saves P6 for later so that he can pay out of it and not have to take 2 trips through the valley. Well, not take a 3rd trip through the valley since he already did 1. But wow, immediate boss here for Patrick, and we're going to be at GP in no time.
We absolutely are, and Patrick is going to be set up for a good amount of leveling here. Unfortunately, it gets bad placement on Rebo, but takes him down no problem. That's going to be a big 500 buckaroos that can then be turned into 3,290 and dropped all into magic.
Yeah, very nice leveling for Patrick. Should be Thunder probably not going to get any, and there's not much room for Thunder to get cheaper without Chief. It was miraculously at Magic 1, but not even going to take it. Life 8 over Magic 3, 4, 5.
Okay. I like this play.
It's just absolutely no respect for it. Ordinarily, like, you'd want to pick up some magic levels because you're trying to, like, push Thunder down, but with 8 containers, he just doesn't care.
So there's a second reason why I like this play. You covered that first one, not caring with the 8 containers. The second reason, it keeps the experience level at a lower threshold, so that way when you use all your magic, you can get your level in GP and refill.
Yeah, yes and no. It depends on... It can be a little bit awkward when it's this low, because you often want to kill enemies just to get them out of your way, and that can result in, like, getting a magic level at a bad point. It could get, at the very least, it's probably going to get him, like, a free Thunder. Like, if you see a Waffle Room, just, like, blast it with Thunder and then immediately get your magic back. But kind of limited use. The main value is just magic. Life 8's Life 8, right? Like, with the limited containers, he's just going to be very safe, hoping not to take a game over. And we'll see how awful this GP is.
56-52, curtain is up for Patrick, sub-hour into GP. The question now becomes, how long is this GP going to be, as Patrick immediately runs into 4 tile gaps, the room.
Yeah, thankfully jump spell. The easy solution to that.
Fast Bubble and a Red Bird Knight here. Gets the blocks broken for the Quantum Leap. Doesn't stick it, but it's fine.
Yeah, as long as you've got 5 blocks there, you're going to be good. The bird's not going to be able to chase you down easily. If there's...
My goodness.
And not going to be able to cast Thunder. Going to take a death and then probably an up A immediately afterward. With how early this Thunderbird is.
He may also take the experience, get the magic levels, and then continue on. He may also just decide, no, I'm not going to take the magic levels. Instead, I am just going to let this go. Nice 4-banger there. Getting 6 hits in a full pendulum swing. And nails another 4-banger. That was a beautiful Thunderbird fight coming in from Patrick.
I'm going to take a couple magic levels, and it doesn't look like an up A.
There is not an up A here.
So we haven't seen any, I mean, you know, Thunderbird is required, so the path has to be behind Thunderbird, but we haven't seen any forks yet, so Thunderbird is required, and right so far the entirety of GP could be Darkling.
And it's been very, very linear so far anyway, so we'll find out just what happens. MiRai just defeating Karok, and we'll be looking to go over to P6. Elevator down for Patrick. He is taking a look at it, deciding, nah, I don't want to take that way, and he's going to continue left.
Yeah, we know that he's ahead, but him going left here is a bit of a sign that he wants to gamble, and he might think he's behind.
Gets an amazing Quantum Leap, but then gets the 50-50 bird to come out, and he is in a terrible spot right there.
You can't cast life in time.
This might constitute the up A.
It's going to keep going. I think if he does game over here, we're probably going to see him check that elevator. Okay, doesn't get the 50-50 this time, so... Life spell, 50-50. Nice reef. Yeah, say gets the jar and not the bird.
All right, MiRai is into 6. And here is an upstab block with the big ball. This is going to be a bit more awkward to get through because it makes it more difficult.
Yeah, also, we were talking earlier about janky enemies. The hitbox on those big bubbles is really weird. It's plus shaped.
Yeah.
It's not what you'd expect.
Really weird.
So especially since they move diagonally, you can very easily like miss your stab on them and then they fly into you and hit you.
So, Elendar, I heard you wanted some spicy chicken.
I mean, this is what GP is for, right? It's just chicken and waffles.
Exactly. And Greg actually making a very, very valid point here. After a comment in chat, with Patrick on his last life, too much damage here is going to result in a game over. That could give MiRai a window of opportunity to bring this back.
Yeah, the good news for Patrick is he did get that life 8. He could potentially get another magic level for his extra cast of the life spell.
All right. Elevator down. Patrick gonna go for the jar.
Meanwhile, MiRai ferrying over the Canadian hole yet again, looking for his flute and Barba.
I have noticed both of you looking over at your other monitors. And Patrick, terrible coin flips here on these 50-50s. But finally gets it, gonna cast Life and continue off to the right.
I appreciate him being safe here. The game over is just so costly. He just wants to make sure that he doesn't take that, but unfortunately, he just finds another dead end.
Yep, 50-50, because 50% of the time, it's what you don't want, and the other 50% of the time, it's what you don't want.
Yeah, you want a dead end or you want birds? We'll take the birds in convenient foot stabbing position.
Yeah, that was beautiful placement on the Red Bird Knight. The Waffle Room's always amazing for this, as MiRai has made it to the beautiful, beautiful Barba.
Yeah, and Patrick just finds L7 room. It's another dead end. Ooh, there's a missed jackhammer.
It was a very missed jackhammer as he's sitting there laughing at it. Not that I can blame him, because, I've done that a time or two.
Yeah, we're just going to see some safe strats. At least safe strats for MiRai doing a little bit of hugging to avoid fireballs.
And a very, very, very good fight against Barba there for MiRai. Placing that 5th gem. Patrick did up an A in GP going back to the start. I have a feeling that he's going to take the elevator shaft here.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't want to take the first time. I suspect the reason he didn't want to take the first time is just, it's a waffle room. You'd like to avoid waffles if you can. Maybe he's feeling a little behind and wanted to gamble left. At this point, you know how bad left is. How about that?
Exactly. Spicy chicken being a little unkind there, but Patrick makes it through. Life 8 coming in clutch here, but Life 8 is always good. All right, here we go. It's not a waffle room. It's the next best thing. It's an emoji room.
Now with added jank.
I mean, the only jank in here is that bubble.
Yeah. You can kill them to try and despawn things in the same way as King Bot, but they work a little different. And so it's not quite as effective.
And they only spawn 2 enemies on death instead of spawning 5 like the King Bots do. Beautiful
King Bots almost always despawn everything.
Oh, we have a drop room here for
We've
Patrick.
seen that L7. This could take back there. That would be awful if Patrick went back to the L7. It's not the L7.
It's not the L7.
Oh, it's just the room before that might not be the same L7. This might not have looped him back, but if it did, we might see another up A. We might see him just walk a little bit further to find another fork out here, but this is not where he wants to be.
Yeah, I don't think we had seen this room at all.
Okay, so it's just a different L. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we haven't seen this is the beer bridge. We hadn't seen this one yet.
Correct. Oh boy. GPT room. Heading down the elevator, and here is a junction. Patrick, of course, going to opt to go right, as heading right is what you want to do when trying to get to Dark Link. Occasionally, you'll hit an elevator up that takes you to him.
Yeah,
but
but you
in
can
this
use
case, it does not.
the up elevators are easy to just check in and go back if it's not right. All right, here's one of the L7s on the bottom side, so we're seeing another drop. Into the other L7!
It dropped it to itself?
I don't know. We know there's two L7s in this palace, so we actually have no idea where Patrick is right now. There could have been a third L7.
That's very possible. That could have been a third L7. Oh my gosh. I think I know where we are.
That's a fresh bird. I mean, unless this could be a new area, this could be just a loop back. It's hard to. I don't remember. Oh, Patrick in chat having finished, confirming that it is a loop. Yeah, we've seen this before. We've seen that fork. This is the spot that Patrick up-aimed the first time.
Yeah, so that L7 absolutely looped into itself. That's just a little unfortunate to see. And going for the jar here, which honestly I like. It preserves
I like
the lives.
it too, but his luck on this specific 50-50 has been terrible.
As MiRai is entering GP at 109.03 for the curtain being up. We are going to see a left here.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen this path before. This is new, because previously Patrick came in from the elevator, I'm pretty sure.
And if I'm not mistaken, this is going to have an elevator down.
I'm surprised Patrick didn't at least take an attempt at the 50-50 in the previous room, but gets another opportunity at 50-50 again, so no problem, as MiRai is going to be here again.
And he does have shield. He picked up that child. And it's time for MiRai to make it through this T-Bird. Having a beautiful fight so far. Does take a hit. Takes 2 hits. Not the end of the world.
Yeah, just a reminder for, with Patrick being in chat, all of the races are on a 15-minute delay, so probably both runners have actually finished the race by now, but we are live from the past. We don't know the outcome of this race. I'm sure Patrick already does. And at this point, we do know the outcome of this race.
we absolutely know the outcome of this race now.
This is going to be no problem for Patrick at full life, full magic, and at least 1 life in reserve.
To use a few words before the following statement, or the statement that will follow it, of a friend, guys, gals, non-binary pals, we got a game 3. Get your GGs out for BKPKT Patrick, finishing with an official racetime.gg time of an hour, 11 minutes, and 7 seconds. And MiRai throws in the towel. I'm going to get these guys their invites out.
Yeah, very understandable. MiRai not wanting to go and do a whole medium GP when, unfortunately, kind of far behind since the middle of that race.
Indeed, as we are joined by MiRai.
GG.
I was going to say, first off, GG's, and then second, where do I begin with questions here? And we're also joined by Patrick. GG's, Patrick.
Hey, thank you.
Where do I begin with questions here? Elendar, I'm going to let you start, because I don't have a starting point.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty even early on. You both took some diverging routes. MiRai with an unfortunate Maze Island game over, but probably the interesting part started with the glove. How are you feeling about that glove?
Yeah, I felt pretty fortunate to find it. I'd forgotten the rock was right near the entrance to Death Mountain. So I was going back there with an idea of spending some time looking for it, and just kind of, it was in Death Mountain, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Spectacle Rock.
We were hoping for another flute in Hammer Cave. Until fairly deep into the race, no one had that flute.
Yeah, I was definitely concerned about that, but aside from E5, I figured I would just do palaces until I ran out of gems to place, and then go back to Death Mountain and go, I guess that was the only other place. So yeah, the routing just kind of worked out really well for me by chance.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to say. That game over early on sucked, but I did go right back there, get the key, saw 4 on the maze, walked back out to 2, got the hammer, and then went to 6 in Death Valley and was glove blocked out of there, and then never came back until way later. So didn't get the boots for a long time either, so I was kind of just hoofing it. And I imagine, well, I guess I took the hammer back to the rock pretty early on, then had that glove, but then couldn't find anything else that I needed for a long time. Couldn't find anything but hearts, really. So, yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, I bet the boots were more of a difference than the glove. I feel like I found those fairly early on.
In this case, I will absolutely say that the boots made a massive difference compared to the glove itself. Just because, Patrick, that allowed you to get so much exploration done in honestly so little time. And finding the boots late for you, MiRai, unfortunately, it did end up biting you in the end. That early game over where it did suck, it didn't actually put you back all that much. You still had the first palace done. You were the first to ferry. You found that magic key very early. And on top of that, you found that glove immediately because of remembering that Spec Rock was just right outside that entrance to Death Mountain.
Yeah. And then from there, I went through Jump Cave and then followed it around and did Palace 1 into Palace 5. Got a castable ferry from there, went across Saria, and then I saw the rest of the west, which is where the boots were down there. I think grass tile or something.
Yeah, they were on the grass tile, which was a bit of an unfortunate circumstance, and I didn't take a look because of pulling double duty on this, but I have a feeling you were a little frustrated at seeing those there because I have a feeling in the back of your mind you were like, I could have gotten these so much earlier.
People wanted a game 3, so I was like, there are the boots. If I found those late, I'm probably dead in the water, but that'll be a game 3 for everyone tomorrow. So yeah, I don't know. I was in pretty good spirits here. So it was there's not a lot of yelling at the game. There was some eye rolling. I mean, it kind of comes with the territory, but being up a game kind of feels safe going into, game 2, and then realizing that, the glove blocked P6 had the flute the entire time. I'm like, well, I was here so early on. This would have been a huge game changer. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, in that nasty Death Mountain, I'm like, if Patrick wants to go dig out that Hammer Cave, he can have it. If the flute is in the Hammer Cave again, he can have it. So yeah, no, but again, I don't know what was, I guess Raft might have been in there, but it could have been in 3 as well.
Yeah, Raft was either in 3 or Hammer Cave. But that's a mystery that will remain a mystery.
Yeah.
Well, good game again. We just said we're going to do the next race tomorrow at the same time. So we'll have a decision. Good game again. And thanks everybody for commentating and tracking and putting on the restream. It's always fun.
I just want to say that will be the decision on whether we end it at a best of 3 or we change it to a best of 5. Haha. Kidding.
Fortunately, knowing you well enough, I could tell you were kidding on that.
No, if we had more time, we would have changed this to like a best of 5, I think, but we didn't have enough time. It was way too late in the tournament anyway, but it was like, we got to be done with this in 3 days. So yeah, best of 3 it is tomorrow. Go home or win or take second. That's ultimately what it is. But GG again to Patrick for tonight, and thanks to you two for doing comms and stuff. And here we are putting out the call for tomorrow night. Comms tracking, whatever it is. I hear tomorrow's a holiday, so some people might be busy. So
yeah, stay or keep that in the schedule for tomorrow at 8:15 p.m. Eastern. Game 3 of Patrick versus MiRai. Either way you look at it, you both win because you get a part of the prize pool.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win situation. It's
Exactly.
just which one of you comes in first and which one comes in second. You'll want to stay tuned to find that out. Elendar, you got any final thoughts before we close this on out and give Speed Gaming back their channel?
Nope, that's it for me. Looking forward to Game 3 tomorrow.
All right. Definitely want to thank Speed Gaming for hosting these tournaments and thank them for allowing us to have these races on the entire Speed Gaming network. Be sure to give them a follow. Give both Patrick and MiRai a follow, as these two have put on an excellent set so far that will conclude tomorrow. Be back 8:15 p.m. Eastern for Game 3. We'll see you then. And until next time, have a good night, everyone.